tracks today.
Yeah. I need them bands, run it up fast, stuffing them shits in the safe. Got me a spot out the way, nigga just tryna be safe. Leaving the house with the glizzy, nigga.
Let's get to the sports talk.
Backs under the most pressure in 2019.
For me, it's Mr. Trubisky. He had a relatively decent year last year. Obviously, wasn't that great in the postseason against the Philadelphia Eagles, even though their kicker got most of that attention. Had a pretty decent year last year, but when you look at that defense, I'm not going to call it monsters of the midway the way it used to be with Singletary and the crew, but with Khalil Mack and those boys there, a lot of people are expecting big things from the Chicago Bears because of that defense. So that means your quarterback's got to hold up his end of the bargain. He was the number 2 overall pick years ago. Remember, they passed up on guys like Deshaun Watson to grab somebody like a Mitchell Trubisky. He's got to show up and show out. He's got to show that he's worth it. And with a defense and with Nagy proving that he can really, really coach, the bottom line is there's really no excuse. Mitchell Trubisky's got to show up, and let's see what he does.
There's pressure on Trubisky, no doubt. There's some pressure on Stafford, although it doesn't, to me, look like there's more pressure than any NFL quarterback on Stafford. Mm-hmm. And I think Kirk Cousins for sure. He got...
Yeah, like Mitch Trubisky, he just got to do what he did last year, but have a better year this year. He had an okay year last year. You know, just take that next step because you got the defense on your team, and you just got to put enough points up. You know, to help out the defense as well. You don't want to put them on the field so much and get them tired. Like, so it's just him to take that next step for his team and show them why they picked you number 2 4 years ago. You know, he's a good quarterback. You know, you just take that next step for them. Like once he take that little more, he just keep going and going. Like the Bears go as far as he go. Like he have a good season this year and help him out. And then Matt Stafford, he got to prove. He got to get that team to the playoffs. They haven't been to the playoffs in I think a year or 2. Like he got all that money, man. He got to get them there. He got to get them there. I mean, like it had to do with coaching as well. Got to put him in a little right situation as well too. Like he got to get a running game also. He ain't got no running game like that. Like I don't know. They ain't had no good running back since Barry Sanders. Detroit, I don't know, man. It's just like you just know what they gonna do. You know they ain't gonna make the playoffs. I don't know why. You just know that. Oh, really? They got the players, but they just not gonna make it.
That big contract and the whole knock on him. What I said, like sometimes those are empty calorie numbers, and it seems that way again. No one has more pressure than Aaron Rodgers in the NFC North. No way, including Trubisky. Look, if you don't think that making the playoffs, going on a run, winning another Super Bowl is important because, well, Rodgers is already a future Hall of Famer. What's the difference? I'll remind you of, let's take the difference between that. It's not just one Super Bowl. Like, Marino went to a Super Bowl. There are quarterbacks that won a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning's status had been knocked way down. He did not won a second Super Bowl, and by the time he won his second, he won as good. You know, he really wasn't good anymore, but still it kind of accrues to his, redounds to his greatness. John Elway. John Elway was one of the greatest talents anyone ever saw, but he kept coming up short, right? It wasn't until he got a running back at the end when he wasn't even as great anymore that he went back to back. But now think of how we think of Elway. Compare that to a guy like, say, Donovan McNabb. Right. Was Elway better than McNabb? Are we sure that he was? I think maybe he was a little bit. I don't know. Like McNabb was very, very, very good.
Yes.
Never won a Super Bowl. If McNabb won a Super Bowl or 2, we would remember him the way we remember John Elway, like on that level. If you think it doesn't make a difference because Aaron Rodgers has already won one, Aaron Rodgers, you say it, I say it, the most talented player of all time at the position. And is a great player, super great, won a Super Bowl, MVP, the whole thing. Guys, 5 years ago, was anyone saying Drew Brees is better than Aaron Rodgers? Do you know there are lots of people making that argument now, historically, who's going to go down ahead of whom? Tom Brady, because he's got 6, is the GOAT, right? He's out of reach, it would seem. But Aaron Rodgers, he could start to fall down in his own era in terms of the way we remember this. He just ran.
It's not just Aaron Rodgers. The Packers don't have a defense, man. I'm going to keep saying that. He can put all the points up he wants, but he don't have a defense to protect them points. His defense been suspect for years. You need defense. Other side of the football got to be good as well. It can't just be all on him. Like, when you don't have a good defense, it don't matter how much points you put up, because other teams can put up points. Can your defense stop him to help him out to get over the hump and get a second ring? Or he just gonna go down just like Brett Favre with one ring? We gotta wait to see how this defense gonna be this year.
His old coach out of town for good reason. He's got a new one who's more kind of analytically oriented. If this doesn't work out, Stephen A., if they don't make the playoffs, if they don't go on a little playoff run, Rodgers' place in history is compromised.
Well, you could say that. I think it's already compromised because he's only been to one Super Bowl and he won that. But I would tell you this. Listen, when you look at Matt LaFleur, the bottom line is that you failed up. You were in Tennessee. Your offense was ranked 27th. And you got a head coaching job out of that. I mean, go figure. And not only did you get a head coaching job, but you got a head coaching job coaching Aaron Rodgers. I don't think the press is on Aaron Rodgers like that at all. If Aaron Rodgers hadn't been hurt the last 2 years, played through it last year before, was knocked out with the collarbone because Anthony Barr, of Minnesota took him out game 3 or 4 into the season. Aaron Rodgers, you look at him and you say, okay, he hasn't been 100%. That's the reason why Green Bay was Green Bay over the last 2 years. Nobody's questioning anything about Aaron Rodgers. And not only that, I told you about Trubisky. Oh, who else is in the conference? Kirk Cousins, Mr. $28 million per year.
That's true. Kirk Cousins got all that money. They brought you there to get to a Super Bowl. You had to make the playoffs this year. Because that's going to be a waste of money if you don't get to the playoffs and get them where they want them to be, the Super Bowl. You still got that defense. Now you got to do something. It seems like you just took their money. You good, but you got to get to the playoffs this year, man. Or they gonna start looking like, man, did we just waste some money? That's how the ownership gonna look at it.
Man, okay, in Minnesota, getting $28 million in guaranteed dollars, $84 billion overall, and can't get to a damn playoff game. And then you've got Matthew Stafford, who's been in Detroit, and they haven't won a playoff game since 1991 as a franchise, for crying out loud. So I'm looking at it from this perspective. Don't come to me with Aaron Rodgers in the NFC North when you got Trubisky, Stafford, and obviously Kirk Cousins. That's how I view it. That's the day.
But your argument is actually more pressure on Rodgers, and I'll tell you why. LaFleur is an unproven commodity. We don't know how good he is. If he's not very good as a head coach in the NFL, you and I might say, come on, who did Rodgers have? McCarthy wasn't keeping up with the times, and he got a guy who couldn't coach, right? Some people will say that. But history will remember. Don't give me a bunch of excuses. Like, the bottom line is what this dude did. He got rid of one coach, another came in, there are more excuses, then a third coach is brought in. The bottom line is no one's going to remember LaFleur if he's no good. But people will remember Aaron Rodgers, and he'll be remembered, even though he's got the one Super Bowl win, the stakes have been raised. He will be remembered much more like Dan Marino than like others. Like, boy, that guy was the best I've ever seen. But you can't say he's the greatest because he didn't win enough.
Real quick, before we go to break, guys, who wins the NFC North this year, you think?
I'm going to go with Chicago because of that defense.
Same.
I'm going to go with Chicago with Green Bay battling for a wild card.
And a coach that's a proven offensive mind in Chicago. So and Trubisky, by the way, who to me he's already better than I thought he'd be. There are a couple quarterbacks like that around the league. Trubisky keeps kind of proving me wrong. He may be a little better than I'm giving him credit for even now. So I agree. The Bears got to be considered number one.
Yeah, they got the defense. to win it. It's hard to say that, but their defense can help them. All Mr. Trubisky got to do is manage the game. He manage it, Bears could win it again and get back to the playoffs. I believe they gonna take that next jump this season. Because after that playoff, missing that field goal, they got a bad taste in their mouth and they gonna wanna have something to prove. Like, they could win that division again.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis,